I'm back. Well, I'm back from my trip to the Dallas International Guitar Show. And man, it was good and it was bad. It was no fault of theirs, really. It was more the fault of me. Yeah, I got the dreaded lurgy all up here on halfway through day 3. So I never made it in that visit to George Lynch, sadly. Which I did want to get on the recordings for you. But it never happened. So, well, more about the Dallas Guitar Show in another video, because there are lots of videos coming regarding that particular guitar show. But of course there are a lot of other things that I saw while I was there, and some of it was quite concerning, really, and very saddening. Yeah, well, what was that, Tony? Well, if you want to know the truth, I went to the Dallas Guitar Show, and then I left Dallas later, after about 5 or 6 days, and I went to Florida, which is a place I go for vacation a lot. Well, not a lot, but I do go there. But I also went on the sort of Tampa side of things, and whenever I go Dallas, or whenever I go Orlando or Tampa or any of those sort of areas, I always go the guitar centres of this world, because I've got the odd friend who I know in different ones, and I've also got other friends and people that I know from over the years. You get to see them and meet them and all the rest in other guitar stores too. Yeah, so it's not a wasted journey. It gives you a good view of what's going on out there. Now, most of you guys will have heard about the closing of Sam Ash, and I think it's very, very, very sad. I used to go all the Sam Ashes, well, all the ones that were near me, let me put it that way. I don't think there's thousands of them, but there was one near Tampa that I particularly always went. And there was another one in Dallas that I particularly always went. And there was another one up in Lee Road, I think it's called Lee Road, near Orlando, that I always went. Those 3 particular Sam Ashes were sort of like a sort of circuit for me in their own way, and I always looked forward to them, because you could find things in there, if you're somebody like me, that was a little bit out the way or out the ordinary, but there it was, possibly used, possibly new, and always a great price, and that always does matter. Me, I always liked the staff as well, and I got to meet these staff over the years. Some of them came and some of them went. Well, in fact, they near enough all came and went, except for just one guy I can think about. No names, no pack drill. But there you go. And yeah, what a great place it was. They weren't always the cheapest. They didn't always have the latest of everything in stock. They didn't this, they didn't that. But you know what? They were a great place to visit compared to the guitar places, the guitar stores and the rest that's in the UK. There aren't many left in the UK. I could name a few. Fair Deal Music, PMT, well, you name the rest. There's the odd one. And, they all claim to have these massive stores. And I don't think they do. It's a very different place in America than it is certainly in England. So I was thinking all about the Sam Ash guys and the Guitar Centre guys and all those other little stores that you get to see. They're out there for sure in America. Less so in the UK. The folded and a lot of them have gone. Yeah, so I think to myself, well, I wonder what the industry's really like. You see all this, I can't use the wrong words. You see all this sort of bull, I'll call it that. Where's the bull gone? You see all this bull, yeah, and it's spouted right throughout the music industry, the music business, yeah, over and over and over. And I wonder, often, well, how long does all nagging last? The price of the gear, by the way, has spiraled up and up and up. in America to where it actually costs near enough more in America than it costs in England. And that's a very sad situation, bearing in mind that when you've bought something, let's imagine you've bought this owl, for example. I don't mean literally, but this could be, well, you could have bought this guitar that's down on the bench, on the table here. And when you buy it in America, you've got to start adding the tax of whatever state you're in. No, not drunken state. Whatever state you're in. And the thing about that is it could be 7%. It could be some other ridiculous amount. It might be nothing. But you've always got to add it. But here in the UK, the price of the product, yeah, includes the tax usually. That's the way it works. But you know what? When I'm comparing the two, when I'm in England and when I'm in the USA, all I can now see is USA products. Whatever they are. Doesn't matter if they're made in the USA or they're somewhere else and they're sort of bonded together or whatever, what have you. Yeah, there's a very similar price, which means that either the pound is worthless, it is, or alternatively, these over here have crept up and up and up until they sort of level. And it makes it, even walking through the Dallas Guitar Show and having a good look around, as I always do, it makes it that, well, to be honest, there is no price advantage if you come from the UK and you want to go to the USA and buy something. You might think there is, but overall, by the time you pay the taxes and or they give you grief for it, yeah, I can assure you, you'll be paying more. And that applies right across the board, not just in music gear. So, in a word, what the hell's going on, man? Yeah. It makes me think, makes me wonder about the music business in general. And you know, for a number of years, musicians have often been talking about, we can't make any money anymore. Well, if they can't make any money, how are you going to buy their stuff? How are you going to buy it? With the prices of them going one way only, oh my God, some of the pre-RS prices are now crazy, very crazy. Yeah. So, what the hell's going on? Well, I did go into some of these music stores and I get talking, you know, as you do. And I said, well, what do you think about Sam Ash? What's going on? Oh, let's not talk about that, from some of them. But the odd guy would be quite open and he'd say, well, you know, it really bothers me too. That's a sign of a problem in the music industry. In the music gear industry, I'll call it that. Yeah, and I don't think it's easy to overcome. It's very deep-rooted. And yeah, it's coming. That's what they said to me. And you know what? I sort of believe them. Very concerning indeed. Now this video really is all about that sort of stuff. And, you know, I'm just giving an opinion. But even at the Dallas International Guitar Show, if I was to compare that to 2019 to 2024, which is the difference, that was the last time I went in 2019, then in came all that horrible stuff. Well, I can tell you now, it wasn't the same. No, it was a very different show. Don't get me wrong, it was worth going, definitely worth going, but I didn't get the same vibes. The show wasn't quite the same. Maybe that was my chest and throat, where I had to go and see the medical boys and pay the hundreds of dollars to meet them. Or whatever, but yeah, it wasn't the same. It definitely wasn't the same. So where does it leave us? Well, it leaves us with a pretty major music retailer, Sam Ash, biting the dust anytime soon. And as I said, very sad. It also leaves us with a guitar centre that's still there, and all the other follow-on companies, and there are a lot of them. But those were two of the biggest ones that I knew of. there are other companies, of course, right across America, but yeah, who's bigger? Yeah, and even the Guitar Center guys were saying, oh yeah, yeah, it's sort of more deep-rooted than that. It's very concerning, especially with those prices going up and up and up and up. How many guys out there right now, and you can put your little comment below, you should, how many of you guys are prepared to spend £10,000 or $10,000, it doesn't make much difference these days by the time you've worked it all out, on a Gibson Les Paul? How many of you? How many of you working musicians are going to go and buy a nice new Gibson Les Paul at £10,000 or $10,000? Very concerning. The PRSs are up there. There's lots of brands up there. I won't name them all, they might get embarrassed, but I certainly today would not do that. I've got Gibson Les Pauls, I've got a few, and yeah, the most expensive Gibson Les Paul I have today cost me £3,300 some years back, and yeah, it's as good as anything else on there. Well, that's enough of that for all the sort of music business experience I had over 3 weeks in America, and yeah, very sad indeed. I really wanted to raise the video to just talk about it a little bit. I talk a lot, me. If you don't like me talking, well, nicest way, sod off. You think you know better. Yeah, well, I'm sure you do. Yeah. That's why you're there and I'm here. Okay, well, moving on from all that, I'll just cover a few things that are going to be coming up in the videos over the next as long as I can do them. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff. Okay, well, coming up, not in this video, there'll be separate videos. I've got a few artists that I did actually film the whole concert. And one of those guys was Larry Mitchell. Well, if you've never heard of Larry Mitchell, well, you should. And there's probably a link down below, but when you get to the Larry Mitchell videos, assuming you watch them, I think you should, you'll find that there's links and all sorts of things going on there, and off to his website and all the rest of it. Now, I saw Larry Mitchell in 2019, and I wanted to really get a capture again of Larry playing his guitar. He did some amazing stuff with it. But this time he'd got a bass guitarist that I know from a particular company, who was also there. And he got a keyboard guy and a great drummer. So I filmed all that, and that'll be coming separately. That's one I did. There's a few others I've yet to work the names out of. I didn't know them all. Looking a bit further down here, I did actually get, who was it now? Eric Steckel, yeah. If that's how you say it, I think it is. Eric Steckel, yeah. And I caught him in 2019 too, and he was just solo in 2019 with these backing tapes, I think. It's a few years back. But he was good, and he's still good. To be honest, I thought he was better in 2019. That's just a personal opinion. And yeah, the other major one, although I've got a couple of others, the other major one I wanted to get recorded really was Buddy Whittington. Yeah, because Buddy Whittington is one of them blues types of guys. And he's endless. He's perfect and endless. And, he's a big guy, sits there on his chair. You'd look at him and you'd say, well, he wouldn't be very... Yeah, he is good. So I recorded him as well. And he got various guys there in his band. I think it was his band. And, yeah, very interesting. But there were a few other people that I also filmed, which I've got a few different slots of, which will also be coming up on video, yeah. And they turned out quite good, actually. I'd got a proper tripod and all the rest, and got it all filmed. And while they're not pushed out on the internet the day I did them, that isn't what you really want. What you want is something that's better, rather than some character walking around with his with his phone. There's a lot of that going on as well. And I've never felt that that's really the way to record video. As I said, sadly, I missed George Lynch, and I really wanted to get him. What a pity. But there you go. That's life. That's what happens. I'm just lucky to still be around, I suppose. As you get older, you start to think that way. Yeah. I also visited a stand where Ernie Ball and his boys were selling the strings. Oh man, what a great deal. All I can say is I bought a box of strings or so for a price of, well, a set of strings almost. Absolutely incredible. And one of the things I was talking about with them, just while I was walking around that show, was, hey, how are you getting on with the counterfeit stuff? What are you doing about that, you know? And make no mistake, they were all up to speed with it, but they said, well, you know, to tell you the truth, we can't do anything. These other strings are coming in, simulating the real deal. They're not the real deal, make no mistake of that. And yeah, people were being fooled into buying them, thinking that they're Ernie Ball strings. I wish there was something we could do. I wish there was something they could do. I particularly dislike companies that do that sort of thing. I don't know. It's just immoral. I'll be making a separate video about some of the other experiences from the Dallas guitar show. Yeah, and I've got one or two bits of gear as well coming up. I've got an amp that is having a new case made for it. You don't like that one? Well, you should. It had better come out right, boys. Whoever's doing it. I had to pay for everything, by the way. I don't care. Do I look bothered? No, I'm not bothered. Yeah. So there's that. There's this one, which some of you will know about, which is the Jeff Beck Strat that is yet to be finalised and played on a video that I've otherwise completed. So that will be coming up presently. I've got a few more things. Let me go and show you. You might be shocked. You know, you probably will. So I was wandering around, you know, as you do, as I explained. It's not the newest. But I thought, well, the Pod Express from Line 6, well, what's that bloody thing about? What's it all about? It says here, what does it say? It says very little, in fact. Ultra compact amp and effects processor. What more could you ask for? And I've reviewed other products like this, bottom-endish sort of things. And one of the things that surprised me a little about this, right from the off, is it's made of plastic. Anyway, that'll be coming up in a review, an inside and outside review with playing. And who knows what that's going to be like. I think it was $100 and something. That was a little bit cheaper than the one in England, but not by much. So that's coming up. But there's more, as they say. Then we've got my old friend. There he is. The Fender Tone Master. There's a story in itself. Let me put that down there. Oh my God. It weighs a ton. Yeah, you've got that. And I'm going to be looking at that regarding its tones and the this and the that and the other. Well, that could be a little bit boring. It's not the newest of products, is it? But it's not that old either. Yeah. So we're going to have cast our eyes over that. But then I thought to myself, you know, we ought to be doing something else rather than just casting our eyes over a £1,600 pedal. And I thought, well, where else is there out there? You know, I've got all the Helix stuff and all that, and one or two other things. I've been through most of the pedals that are out there. So in my wisdom, I thought, well, what haven't I looked at for a while? I thought, well, there isn't that much left, is there? But I thought I needed something else that some people rave about. Well, they raved about the Fender Tone Master, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Oh, have you ever seen them playing it since? No, of course you haven't. That's the way they are. And yeah, I thought, well, I better look for something else. So here's the something else I look for that I can do an inside and outside review. Very close up and personal. To see exactly what they're doing these days and whether they've moved from Hong Kong or not. or the rest of it. Here it is. You might be shocked. You probably will, especially if you own one. I think that's all you need to know for now, don't you? Right there, yeah. I know they didn't send it me free. As if they would. Oh my God. So, I'm going to review this product, inside and outside, in real depth. I've looked at the fender. I couldn't get the heat sink off the fender no matter how I tried, so I ain't going to screw the thing up for that. But then I'm going to do a comparison of the two. Yeah, that seems like a plan. And this one, I think, costs about £1,250. That one cost £1,600 at the time. You might be able to get it a bit cheaper now, that Tone Master. So they're sort of within the same ballpark. I think that's Americanism. That we can use, yeah. So that's going to be coming up. That's another plan. Yeah, I think that's worth the effort. Now there are other things that I'm going to review. I'm not going to go through everything. I've got that Marshall amp as well to solder away at, waiting for parts. Well, I haven't even ordered the parts yet because I've been on vacation. But it'll happen. You'll see it in my channel. There is other stuff as well, but that's it for this video. I'm not going to carry on harping on for 2 hours. There's no real point in doing that. I'm still half asleep. I've had the terrible throat mode. And yeah, that's it for now. Hope I got you up to date a bit on the Sam Ash thing and the way that the industry is. And sincerely, I wish you'd put your comments down below, not just about Sam Ash, but about the music industry in general, and where you think it's going, and can you even afford to continue to buy products so overpriced and so out of every regular musician's price range. You know, it's like, it's crazy. It's gone crazy. So consider that. Put all them comments below, because I'd really like to hear them, what real musicians think about that. And even if you're just a bedroom player, listen, you put your details down, put your stuff down there, and tell me what you think. Because I think it's gone berserk, man. Anyway, don't forget to visit TonyMcKenzie.com if you want to. There's lots of stuff on there that isn't on YouTube. Don't also forget to visit my YouTube channel that's got hundreds of reviews. It's been quiet for 3 weeks, and now you know why. And yeah, let's get on with it. Yeah, it's all interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll get out of here.